Why don't you have a backup? Nowadays, everybody has a backup for everything.
They have a thing called a smartphone. I don't know how to work that even.
Okay,
I'm not
but that's on you. It's you are in great company because I've got a husband who doesn't know how to turn on the TV.
This is the plaintiff, Stephen Gralneck. He says he brought his laptop computer to the defendant for repair, and he has had nothing but problems since. The thing still doesn't work correctly. Now it won't even turn on, and he's here suing for the state max of $10,000 because he has lost all of his data. This is the defendant, Stephen Price. He says the plaintiff doesn't have a basic understanding of software updates and the like. He's gone above and beyond for this customer. The guy's impatient and rude, and he refuses to work with him, and he owes nothing. He's accused of not being able to fix things right.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Millian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Millian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Gralneck, you are suing tech rock stars for $10,000 because they didn't fix and, in fact, according to you, harmed a computer of yours. All right, tell me what happened.
In December of 2020, I purchased a computer at Staples that was closing down the street where I live. And it was a $2,400 computer, and they charged me $1,700 for the computer.
All right, was this a brand new computer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go on.
And as friends of this company with his partner, I took the computer to them.
Have you brought other computers to them in the past? Have you done business with them?
A number of computers and bought a number of products from them.
So how long had you been a customer of theirs?
About 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I took the computer into them to make sure it was all right. They said it was all right. And a couple months later, I tripped over the computer cord and I broke it off in the computer. I took it to Tech Rock, and they said they have to put a new board on.
A new motherboard?
A new motherboard.
Why? Why did you have to put a new motherboard over that?
Because the connector is actually soldered onto the board.
Okay.
Yes.
And I don't know what a motherboard was.
Okay.
And since they're friends of mine.
When you say friends of yours, were you friends outside of the business?
Yes.
Or, so you would socialize?
Not a lot. We'd have lunch once in a while.
Okay.
And we knew each other. We're like friends.
Okay. Okay.
And I tripped over and I brought it to him. He said, "You need a new motherboard." I said, "Put it on." And they put it on. And when I got it home, the back light wasn't working. So I brought it back to them again and said, "By the way, the back light is not working." And they said, "Oh, we'll fix it for you."
That's the only thing that was wrong with it?
The only thing wrong with it at that time.
Right.
I then said, "All right, I'm not going to do anything about it, you know." So I brought it home, and about a month later,
So they weren't able to get the backlight working? Okay.
A month later, the keypad, the mouse pad on the thing was sticking. So I brought it back to them again. They charged me for it. And about a month and a half later, coming to pick it back up again, it wasn't ready. I then had a friend of mine's computer, and I said, "I have some great guys down the street from me. They will fix your computer, and I'll get it done for you. Why, give them the business." So I called them on the phone. "Can you pick, you have my computer ready?" They said, "We'll drop it off to you." So on a Saturday, they sent somebody over there to my house, and they said, "Did you come and look at this computer?" He said, "No, I came to give you this computer. They don't want to do business with you anymore."
Who came to, wait.
A guy named Jose, one of the people who worked for him.
Jose went to your house.
It's like a block
to drop
away.
off your computer, and this is because you had dropped it off to fix the mouse issue.
Yes.
And Jose said Tech Rockstars doesn't want to do business with you anymore.
That is correct. So
okay.
I called Dan.
So did you ever pay anything for the mouse repair?
Yes.
Did they ever return that to you?
No.
Okay. And why are you suing for $10,000 if this is a computer that at the time you paid $17 and now it's probably worth less? What's it worth now?
$290.
Right, like you could get one for $209 that's used?
Yes.
Right. But anyway, why is it $10,000?
Well, I put into all my documents and everything on there I cannot recover.
Well, why don't you have a backup? Nowadays, everybody has a backup for everything.
They have a thing called a smartphone. I don't know how to work that even.
Okay,
I'm not
but that's on you. It's not, you are in great company because I've got a husband who doesn't know how to turn on the TV. All right, so I understand that you might need someone else to take care of all your tech issues.
I would have a backup, but if I knew what a backup was.
If you knew what a backup was,
I don't
okay.
know. I didn't know. Some people said you have a backup. I said, yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
Right.
I didn't have any idea. So now all my stuff is on.
What's your stuff?
All my business, all my orders, my contacts, everything is on that
And you don't have that anywhere else but a computer?
I had it on everything but a computer, but some of the people who work with me, they say, you don't need this stuff anymore, it's on your computer.
Not if you're not backing stuff up to the cloud or backing stuff up on a hard drive.
They didn't know I didn't back it up.
Yeah.
I don't know what a backup was. So what happened was I sent it out to another person, and they charged me $200, and they said, we can't find anything. When they brought the computer back...
Well, so they couldn't fix it either.
They couldn't fix it either.
Okay.
Then I found a fella who does Apple work only. And he charged me so far, I think, $300 and $400. I'm not sure what it is. I'd have a figure here. And he has a computer still. And
this isn't an Apple.
No.
Right.
But the problem I had was, they gave me the computer and they told me this. The last words I spoke to Dan was, that's not our problem. Call up Samsung, let them worry it. It's their problem, not ours.
What was the problem?
So the problem is actually a technical issue with the software drivers, which actually tell the hardware what to do. So when you press the buttons to bring on the backlight, the software says, okay, hardware, turn on the backlight, But the version of Windows, this computer is actually from 2014. So if you got it new in
then he couldn't have got new.
If you say you got a new, that you must have got a really good deal on it. But
Wait, so do you have a receipt for the computer?
I had one. That was like 2 years ago. I don't have it now.
The answer's
no? No, I don't have one.
Okay, go on.
So yeah.
But it's a 2014.
It's a 2014, yeah.
Okay.
It has Windows 8, and so when we upgraded it
is it even possible for him to have bought it a few months earlier with Windows 8 on it?
No. The Windows 8 has been not around since, I think they stopped putting it in systems like in 2016 or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so go on.
Okay. So that's basically, so would you like to hear my side of the story?
Yes.
Okay. Oh boy. So obviously $10,000 is a little ridiculous, and I feel that it's not necessarily of the backlight, it's for revenge. So Mr. Grillick wants to get back at us because he actually was running for mayor for the city that we work in. And so he was just really trying to get back at us because we didn't donate to his campaign.
Okay, wait, did he ask you to donate to his campaign?
Yes, he called in asking to donate to his campaign.
And what did you guys say?
And so we politely declined the offer.
Wait, but but hold on. Like, he describes you guys as friends.
I have actually, this is the second time I've seen him, but he's come into the office, and I'm not into day-to-day operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's certainly been a customer
yes,
for a while.
For 2
How
years.
long?
So 2 years, yeah.
Had you ever seen that computer before?
No, I have not.
Had he ever mentioned when and how he got the computer?
No.
All right, so he brings the computer in, and he brings it in because he had ripped out the cord.
Yep.
And that required a new motherboard because that's soldered onto the motherboard.
That's correct.
And then is everything fine after the new motherboard for a bit?
Yeah, so in January 31st, he brought it in. We got it fixed up for him. It was okay. And then he brought it again in a couple of weeks later because it was kind of acting slow. It's an older system. So what we did is we upgraded the components to like what's called an SSD, which makes it faster, kind of give it more life, And so we did that, and he was happy. He said, I could finally watch my races, and and he's thrilled with it.
What races? Horse races? Okay, go on.
Okay. And so in March, he calls us on March 24th. He asked to donate to a campaign, and that's when we politely declined.
Who actually did the talking with him?
So Dan's the one's been. So I don't really go day-to-day operations calls, phone calls. So, but Dan's the one that's communicating.
What did Dan say was the reason that he was declining to contribute to the campaign? I mean, did he say anything, or just say we don't do that? What did he say?
We don't want to get politically involved.
Okay.
You know? So
all right.
yeah.
All right. And then what happens?
Okay, and then. And then in May 9th, he brings the computer back in saying that, oh, nothing works, AOL, nothing. So we get the AOL working, and we kind of...
why was AOL not working? AOL's...
I know AOL hasn't been around for a long time, but we got it to work.
No, but I mean, why would AOL not work? How could you fix AOL not working? I'm lost there.
Yeah, so I guess it wasn't installed right, or like his maybe username and password wasn't set in there for him to easily log in. But we were able to kind of get it up.
Wait, that's like just pay attention to what your username and password is. That doesn't require experts.
Correct. So it's really just an easy installation of the software and getting them set up.
Okay. Yeah. All right, go on.
And then on August 9th, we get a frantic call from Sam's computer, which is he took it to another computer repair shop, and we get a frantic call.
Wait, but before you get there, yes. According to him, Jose drops the computer off at his house.
Yes.
On his way to work on someone else's computer who's at his house with the computer. And Jose tells him, we don't want your business anymore.
That's because he's been calling us nonstop and kind of harassing the employees and just really kind of making everybody upset and uneasy. He said a couple things that are inappropriate for us. And so we felt that, we don't want this kind of behavior. We don't want to be around this behavior.
Like what?
So Mr. Grillin actually was involved with running over a lady in the city and killing her. And so he kind of brags a little bit about like, oh, it's easier the second time around. And
wait, hold on. It's easier the second time around to what?
To kill somebody.
Wait, and he says that bragging as in what?
Bragging,
threatening you folks or what?
Bragging, just saying these comments to the employees. Like if he's trying to get a hold of me, it's easier to run him over than to find me essentially.
Did you run over someone and kill them?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you bragging about it?
No, ma'am. I would like to say something.
Because I have listened to some of those recorded phone calls, which are announced as being recorded whenever you call the firm. And it says things like, if I want to find him, I guess I have to run him over.
I did say that.
Why would you say such a thing when you just ran over someone and killed them? You don't feel any remorse about that?
I never saw the lady. I was going 5 miles an hour.
But I don't. Okay, that's called an accident. But then now, what I'd like to know is why you flippantly make jokes about it.
Because after it happened, Dan was one of the first person I talked to about it. He said some comments to me regarding this, and what happened was that I said to him, I said, Dan, it's very serious what I did here. I don't know. Well,
then why are you flippantly saying on tape? What do I have to do if I want to talk to Dan? Do I have to run over him? Because I ran over and killed somebody, right? I heard that on the tape. Why don't we hear it on the tape? Just a moment.
Hello. At the moment. Is Dan?
Yes.
I figured you'll never let me talk to Steve. I'll have to run him over to find him.
Okay. We'll talk to you soon, Stefan. I'll have him call you.
No, I don't want to talk. Have him call me. I'll be there tomorrow to pay for that thing.
Okay.
But you better call me today. I'm going to your house.
Okay. Bye.
Why are you telling the employee you're going to his house?
I don't know where his house is. I didn't know.
So why are you saying I'm going to your house if you don't call me today?
Because I was desperate to get the information that was on that computer.
All right. So I'm having a really hard time thinking you bought the computer new the month before you brought it to them. I have to tell you, Mr. Grillnick, because it was a 2014, and it had an operating system that stopped being made in 2016.
I did not know that. They were on sale. I thought.
Just show me the receipt.
I don't have it, so I threw it away a long time ago.
I don't know why you threw it away a long time ago if you bought it the other day, because you're saying you bought it in December, the month before you ripped the cord out by accident.
2 months. Again, I'd like to go back to what he said, if you please. I went and asked him for a campaign contribution. Dan said to me, Steve won't allow any more contribution. I said, that's fine. He said, Stephen, I'll give you $200 for your campaign. I said, Dan, I'm not going to take your money. if the company wants to give me the money, fine. I don't need your money for the campaign thing.
Well, of course you do. I've run campaigns. I know you need the money. Everybody needs the money in a campaign. Where did that go? Did you end up filing to run? Did you win?
Of course not.
Okay. How many candidates were in there? 2. Okay. Go on.
I got 1,000 votes out of 4,000.
Okay.
That's more than I thought I was going to get.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
All right, I'm still trying to figure out why you think these guys owe you $10,000 because
I've lost all information that I had.
Yeah, but that wasn't the case when you brought it to them over a jiggly mouse. You hadn't lost all information. So when they gave you the computer back, you know, when did you alert them that you had lost all your information? When did you lose your information?
Well, first of all, when I found out about it, I said to them, "Who told you to put Windows 10 in?" The day I walked into that place and spoke to every employee there, they knew that I don't know anything about it, and leave it the way it was. When I bought the computer, Windows 8 was in there. The fellow wanted to install Windows 10. I said no. When I first brought it to them to look at, no. I don't want a Windows. I know how to work Windows 8. That's all I know how to work. And I said, do not touch it.
The thing is, there's a really easy fix to this, and that's just put Windows 8 back in. I don't get it why neither side did that. But let me just ask you a question. You're claiming that all is lost in the computer. Where's the computer now?
The computer is a gentleman who is Apple repair, Dr. Apple. I took it to him because I was desperate.
So that's sitting somewhere else. You don't have it here as evidence for me to see what's wrong with it. You don't have it here as evidence for me to see what's wrong with it.
That is correct.
Okay. Do you have anything from Mr. Apple saying that, you know...
yes, I do.
Okay, what have you got from Mr. Apple?
I've got him.
And did you take it to anybody in between those?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you take it to in between?
Another fella that I got on the internet, and he told me he fixed it, okay? When I got it home, nothing worked again.
Well, why would you take it home until you test it right there?
Well, he brought it to my home.
So you've brought it to 2 more people who can't fix it. So what did they do wrong? If it's unfixable, it's unfixable. Why did they owe you 10 grand? Let's look at what you're doing. You want $1,700 for the cost of the Samsung laptop, and you've provided evidence to show that you can get a 2014 laptop for how much?
I just took a screenshot of on eBay.
On eBay, and it's what, 200 and something bucks. So let's start with that. So if you want, you don't get your cost, but you certainly don't get your cost when you can't prove your cost. So that's one. You're supposed to get replacement value. If you can prove that they did something to it to kill it, then you get the replacement value. That means what's it worth on the open market at the time of the loss. That's what you would get, and what it's worth is $200 and something if you can prove that they did something wrong. Now, there's $800 in repairs paid to a third party on this computer? You paid somebody $800 when it cost $259 to get a brand new one?
I didn't know that.
Well, why don't you find out? Who did you pay $800 to?
$95 to Tech Rock.
Okay.
$45 to Tech Rock.
Okay.
$99 to Tech Rock.
Okay, plus, let me see those 3.
Plus 120, 100 and some odd dollars.
How do you come to 800?
Because with another guy involved in it getting it fixed too, I don't have the bill for him.
Okay, well, you don't. Then you understand the predicament you're in. You can't just make up numbers and pull them out of the sky. Now, according to you guys, you wanted to stop doing business with them. Why?
Oh, because the harassment and the
What's the harassment?
I mean, the comments he says, like he's trying to, like, you know, it's easier the second time around when you run somebody over, and just comments like, we don't want to hang around those type of people, so we decline to service him.
All right, explain to me something. You got a phone call from another computer place.
Yes.
Was this before or after Jose drops off the computer to him?
This is in August, so
this is much later.
Much later, yeah.
Okay.
So we kind of already getting threatening phone calls from Mr. Grillnick.
Okay. What other threatening phone calls did you receive?
I don't think we have audio recording of them.
Okay. And so why don't you testify to them? Who received what?
So I believe Kevin and Jose were the ones taking the phone calls, and they're the ones that they said to me in a statement that that he was just kind of saying that Mr. Grillnick was saying, you know, I'm going to shoot up the place if I don't get, you know, what I want, and really terrifying our employees.
Did any of you call the police?
We did. We called the police.
Did you file a police report?
We sure did. Yes, right away.
Okay. And this is when in relation to his run for mayor?
I can't say when he was running for mayor.
When was your run for mayor?
In April.
Okay. So go on.
And so in August, we get a call from Sam's computer, and we get a frantic call saying this guy is like has kind of lost it, and he's threatening to, he wants to, if we don't send a bad report about Tech Rockstars, where he's gonna shoot me, and he left multiple messages.
Who did this? Sam, who had left multiple messages?
So yeah, Mr. Grilling left multiple messages on Sam's voicemail saying that.
And then, so who calls you from Sam's computer?
So Sam calls us saying that, yeah, this guy's trying to badmouth you and saying that he's gonna take you to court and everything and make a bad. He wants me to write a bad, statement about you. So that's why he called us.
All right, so did Sam give you a recording that purports to be of him giving Sam's threats?
Yes.
All right.
That's the last recording.
Let me out of $550. 3 computers you fixed, none were done correctly. I'm giving you 24 hours to come back. I don't care about the $350 you put me out of. You have 24 hours to come up with that $200 and put it in my mailbox, or you're going to wish you were dead. I'm going to sue you for every dime can have. But you better not test me on this one, buddy. You're a dead man walking. And you won't have a
man walking?
time when I get through with you.
Okay, what was that about?
It was about not my computer. It had nothing to do with my computer.
Really? Because it sounds like you're pretty angry about all the money that you've paid to fix 3 computers that you took to them.
What happened was, when they didn't pick up the computer, I went to the internet and found a guy named Sam. I read the reviews. He says a very bad guy, but I didn't have anybody else because I can't. That time,
so you looked for the review that said very bad guy, and that's the guy you took. Well, apparently you took it to 2 others. You didn't mention Sam's, but you took it to 2 others after that, so that you have a way of finding others.
This is way after the fact. This was after the fact, and I gave my girlfriend's computer to him to fix, and my friend's computer.
What were the threats you were just making to this Sam fellow?
I said she paid $200 to have her computer upgraded.
Okay. What does dead man walking mean?
I don't know. I just made it up.
No, you didn't make it up. It means something.
The movie, I guess.
Yeah. All right.
But what does it say, Your Honor?
And then the last part of your lawsuit is $7,500 for pain and suffering.
Oh, yes.
You're going to have to testify to what your pain and suffering is that would entitle you to $7,500.
I've lost orders.
Whose fault is that?
Mine for not backing it up.
Right. So why would somebody else have to pay for that? In this day and age, it's very hard to sue somebody for, I lost everything on my computer. Oh, okay. I guess you didn't want to pay the $2 for the backup. Let me just ask you a question. When you guys return it to him, is it working?
Yes.
Did you guys fix the mouse?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is working. He was happy. He got to, watch his horse races.
All right, Mr. Grolnick, I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing where you have established your burden of proof that they did something wrong. Updating the operating system is something that we're all supposed to do all the time. It's kind of, typical. And especially when someone's complaining that something is slow, that's why it's slow, because it needs to be upgraded. The only problem with it was a backlight. Nobody else could fix a backlight either. And you're suing for a ridiculous, preposterous amount.
Your Honor, I didn't.
So I am not going to order them to pay you a penny because I don't think you've proven that they did anything wrong. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So the plaintiff fails to prove his case. He's not going to get $10,000 from the defendants for the problems he's having with his computer. Let's see what he has to say. Mr. Grolnick, you've learned a lesson the hard way, but to try and sue them for $10,000 for your pain and suffering, much of that case for the, $7,500, that's outrageous. You just didn't get it.
I lost about $50,000.
I'm sorry.
I lost $50,000 because of that type of documents. I was late on orders that I had to ship to customers all over the United States.
You'll have to prove that to the judge, but
well, that's all I can tell you.
You aren't going to get it in small claims court.
Yeah. Again, that's what makes horse racing.
Sorry about that, Mr. Grolnick.
No problem.
I think you got to buy a new computer. Start all over again.
Thank you.
Let's see what the defendant has to say about this. Were you shocked to be sued for $10,000?
Oh, yeah. I was like, this is absurd. This guy's out of his mind, But, but I'm glad the judge saw it in our favor.
Well, good for you. All right. Congratulations. You're off the hook.
All right.
You can go home in peace now.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
I know this sounds a little bit crazy, but when you take something in for repair, like a computer, really anything, you may want to just test it out before you take it out of the shop. Once you take it out of the shop, that shop owner is going to say, I didn't do it, you did it after you left the store. So it may take a little bit longer, but it's a way of protecting yourself.
Maryland,
Can you sue in court for time wasted?
People do that all the time, and the answer is not really. I'm not sure what that would, what actual cause of action that would come under, but there is no cause of action for time wasted. Sometimes people will sue for their wages, lost wages.
Right.
In the sense
There's
that
limited circumstances where
it's
you can
my
get
lost
a little
wages because but those are rare and happen in every case, but also they're not entitled to them.
But like if a lawyer sets you for a deposition and it takes several hours out of your day to travel there, you get there, the lawyer doesn't show up. He or she just blows it off, right? And then you travel back home and you're steaming mad. You can petition the judge and say, look, I want to get compensated for my travel
wasted time,
my typical wages during that period of time, etc. And he or she's probably going to give it to you, unless the other person, you know, had some horrible accident, was in a coma. They're probably going to compensate you. So there's limited circumstances where you can get your time back.
A lot of the cases that I see in small claims, it's just you're suing me, so you're wasting my time by suing me. So
I want my money for my time.
I want my money for my time because you're wasting my time by suing me. You know, do you have a job? No.
You're not gonna
you know.
You know, as a former judge, what I'm waiting for is the day that judges can sue the litigants.
Who's going to pay me for my wasted time? That's what I say all the time.
Exactly, because think about it. You know, as a judge, I've had cases where I was in trial for 3 or 4 weeks, or a couple weeks, and then there's a mistrial because of something that went wrong, because of something an attorney did, a witness did, or a mistake by a corrections officer. Anything could happen that would just blow it up. And then you go back to go, and you're like, well, how do I get my 2 weeks back? Well, you don't.
You don't.
You just suck
One
it
of
up.
those things.
Right.
This is the plaintiff, Faye Everett. She says she rented a room in the defendant's house, but had to move out because no one ever cleaned and the place smelled like urine. The defendant refuses to return her security deposit. He has no right keeping her money, and if anyone's owed today, it's her. She's suing for $400, the amount she's owed. This is the defendant, Carlos Arroyo. He says the plaintiff got into a physical fight with an ex-girlfriend, and the cops had to be called, and it became obvious to everyone in the house that she needed to go. He gave the plaintiff a notice to vacate. She started screaming in her room, stop paying the rent, so here they are. He's accused of not cleaning house.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says she rented a room in the defendant's house, but it was such a filthy mess, she had to move out, and she wants her security back. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff got into a physical fight with an ex-girlfriend, and when the cops arrived, they kicked her out. It's the case of, I'll clean something all right, your clock.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right. Ms. Everett, you are suing Mr. Arroyo for $400, a security deposit that you believe you have a right to get back. Tell me what happened here.
Yes, he refused to give me back my security deposit after I cleaned up the house and left everything spick and span and even left the keys. And I'm also suing him for harassment.
Okay, well, first of all, you're supposed to leave the keys, so I don't know why you say even, but how long were you living there?
For a year and a couple of months.
And why did you have to leave?
Because Carlos said that he needed the room for storage.
Okay. And do you think there was a different reason? Was there a problem there?
Yes.
What was the problem?
So. I believe that his cousin, the tenant, another tenant, was making false accusations about me. And I think that Carlos was getting frustrated with it, so he just wanted me to move out.
Okay. And you didn't have a lease, right?
No, not that I remember.
Okay. So he gives you notice to move out, and you've got to move out. And then what happens?
On the 29th, he gave me a notice.
29th
that I need
of what?
to move out. The 29th of November, 2021.
Okay.
And I wasn't able to find anything at that moment, so I asked him for 2 extra days, and he gave me that, and I moved out the 31st.
Okay. And did you pay December?
No. I asked him, do I need to pay it? He said, no, you need to have that to move out.
Really? Did you say that to her, Mr. Arroyo?
No, Your Honor, I didn't say that. I actually stated very clear that she needed to pay me that last month because I was giving her the notice, 30 days notice.
Okay. Now, you have texts from him, right, Ms. Everett?
Yes. Of him stating that I don't have to pay.
Let's see the text.
If anything, I said to her was as a courtesy, Your Honor. But when I gave her
what
the
is
notice,
it? Did you tell her she had to pay December? Did you tell her to keep December because she'd need it if she moved?
That's what I said to her. I asked her to pay me December, but that was at home when I gave her the notice. Then later on, when she said she was asking me for money.
I'm going to find the text where you say you better use that to move out. You did text her that.
Probably.
Okay, well then you told her that.
I texted her.
But now, according to you, she owes much more than December, correct?
Right.
How far behind was she?
At this point, I was recollecting the information. I think she should owe me like 2.5 months of rent that she didn't pay during her whole stay.
Okay.
And this is because she was always saying that she was out of job, out of unemployment insurance, that her life was unstable. She was hospitalized at least twice when she was living at my home. So I tried to be empathetic, Your Honor. As you can see in the text messages, I am always empathetic and supportive, but she abused my goodwill.
And how did she abuse it? According to you, what went wrong?
If there was any problem in the house, for as little as that the AC wasn't working for even a night or something, she used this as an excuse for not paying me the entire month. Okay. I gave her the AC, even though it's not my responsibility. I had an AC and I bought it for her, and she kept it running the whole night, even when she was not at home. You know, she stayed with her, I don't know who with, but she sometimes didn't stay at the home, and she let it running 24 hours, spending my bill, electricity at home. And I think she broke the AC, but she was blaming me for it, and she was using any excuse to not paying the rent. As you can see in the text, she says that I've been a neglecting tenant, a landlord, but the truth is that she caused so much of the problems at home, like the smell that she mentioned. A lot of it was coming from her own house, from her own room, because she was constantly smoking there.
Okay.
Right? When nobody else smokes at home. And I asked her not to smoke at home, but she still did it. She was constantly drinking. So in general, she was not a really nice tenant to have.
Okay. She was constantly drinking in her room. Why is that a problem? I mean, where else are you going to drink if you can't drink in your room? Was she drunk? Is that what you mean? Or what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, this caused trouble because there was an altercation. One of her ex-girlfriends came and banged at my door. One of my roommates didn't know what to do because he was really scared. He let her in, and then he went into her room, Faye's room, and punched her. Then they called the police, and the police had to fix everything.
Oh, my goodness.
So that was one problem, for example, that was causing all this drinking. And
So, Ms. Everett, I've looked through a series of proof that you provided the court regarding payment. Your payment was supposed to be $800 a month, right?
Yes.
And then at some point when you ran into financial difficulty during COVID, you just didn't pay for a couple months, right?
No. I've always paid. He never stated which months that I was missing. He never even, when in the messages, he never told me I owe him anything. The only in the messages that I owed him was $150. And that's the only thing that I refused to pay him, was $150.
What was the $150 for?
It was for, the $150 was for, he wanted me to pay the rest because I have paid him half of 1 week's rent. Sorry, I'm getting a little upset. I paid him half of rent, not the whole $185. I gave him $150.
And why did you refuse to pay the $150?
Because I didn't have any hot water. We didn't have any electricity during the summertime. He took his time with that. He took his time fixing the AC. He took his time with everything that I've complained about.
You've given me a bunch of proof about payments, and I can tell you right now that I don't see any payment in June, July of 2020, nor August of 2020. So let's see the proof of those payments. But I also don't see...
June is right here. June is 6/24/2020, $800.
Okay, 6/24, 5/24. Okay. Can you show me July and August?
Can I add something, Your Honor?
Yes.
During this whole stay, especially at the end of her stay, she was constantly bringing her girlfriend, and her girlfriend was living in the room. I asked her repeated times to stop, that she couldn't live in the house because it was rented for one person only. And her girlfriend stayed there the whole day because I don't think she was working. She used the electricity, the gas, everything, even the AC. She just kept saying that her girlfriend didn't live there, but I know, and I have witnesses, my cousin saying also that her girlfriend was living in the apartment the whole time.
Is your cousin prepared to testify?
I think he is, yeah.
Okay. Do we have the cousin?
No, we don't. I mean, he's just,
okay.
I trust him. He's my family.
Yeah, I know you trust him, but I don't trust him because I've never met him before and I haven't put him under oath. But anyway, let me hear from you. Did you find July and August?
No.
Okay, so game over, right? But let's talk about 2021. In 2021, I don't see you got into financial difficulty and said, I need to pay you by the week. And you started paying, which nobody has to accept, but he accepted it. And then it's $185 per week. I don't see proof of payment for you for the week of February 8th. I don't see a payment. That's $185. And then for the week of...
And he also was getting money from my girlfriend. She was also paying, but I don't have that.
Why is she paying?
Because I didn't have it at the time.
Okay. In March, you pay on the 16th of March, and you don't pay again until April 12th. That's almost an entire month right there. The next payment should be in the week of the 22nd of March, and then there's a week of the 29th of March, and then there's a week of the 5th of April, and your next payment is on April 12th. Your next payment was April 12th. Oh, no. Show me the receipt for that, because, you got to prove what you're saying. So you can't look at me and say, oh, my girlfriend paid, but I don't have any of that. And I paid cash, but I don't have receipts. You're done. Verdict for the defendant. You do not have proof of being current on the rent. He is allowed to keep your security for what you're short. He is short so much more than the $400. I cannot believe you sued for the $400. Verdict for the defendant. He didn't even...
Thank you, Your Honor.
So, the defendant prevails. He does not have to give that money back. Let's see what Ms. Everett has to say. What are you thinking, Ms. Everett?
I should have been more prepared.
Would have helped. Well, you learned the hard way. I'm sorry about that. Mr. Arroyo, how about you? How do you feel about this?
I feel very relieved. Thank you so much for being fair with this. I was a little bit worried because I don't have the money to give to her. And I just think that justice was made here. Thank you so much.
Good for you. All right. That'll do it for this case.
Okay, Doug. Well, look, I mean, this case involves rent, but I think the principle here applies way beyond renting an apartment. When you pay money to somebody, you have got to have some record that you've paid it, especially if it was money owed. If you say that, hey, I paid so-and-so in cash, I paid him $500, if you can't prove it, you didn't pay it according to the judge. I mean, that is just the way it works. You have the burden of proving you paid, be it with a receipt, be it with a text, but don't exchange money without getting proof that you paid.
Who was your best man or maid of honor at your wedding, and are you still friends with them?
Yes, my maid of honor is my friend Jackie Scola, who's still a very good friend of mine. She's the godmother of my daughter, and I am the godmother of her son. And she was my boss at the state attorney's office for a little bit.
Right, and I'm good friends with her husband as well.
Right, and then the man she married was also my boss at the state attorney's office, and he's the godfather of our kids. And
absolutely, so that's lifelong friends.
Those are lifelong friends.
Will always be close with us. On my side, it was, I picked somebody as my best man who has to stay friends with me for the rest of his life, whether he likes it or not, because it's my brother. Yeah. my next oldest brother, Joel, was my best man, and I can't think of a better person. He was a guy, even when I was a kid, when I was a teenager.
I'm gonna tell your other brother you said
when I was, my oldest brother's just as close as you know, my brother Jimmy. And I remember when I was 16 years old, he took the rap for me when something was found in the pocket of my jeans that shouldn't have been there. Okay. And he was like a freshman in college, and I guess I was in high school, and I was gonna get big time heat, and he was like gonna get a little bit of heat because he was older, and I couldn't believe it. I was standing there, and I was kind of trying to come up with a lie or an explanation, and all of a sudden he steps into the room. He goes, "No, that was mine."
Wow, you must have been grateful.
Oh my God, to this day.